Hello, hello. We are live. I am adding D. For some reason, it's not coming up. How do I add her? It's not letting me add you, D. Oh, there we go. Okay, you've been invited.
Hey.
Hey, hello. We have
Ah,
Connor. We have Jeremy. Say hello to. This is myself and D. This is day one of our 16x book club. Oh, okay. You also have it too.
got it.
Welcome, everyone. So, we'll just introduce ourselves first and then we'll talk about what this is about. Today, we're going to go through chapter one. We're going to talk about our takeaways, what we're going to apply, and then we invite you to do the same. And then every day, we'll do this for the next 8 days. And today is day one. So, my name is Abhishek. For all of these followers, I am a coach. So, I help people with high performance and also inner well being. So, bring the two together. And D, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hey, I'm based out of Vancouver and I'm a serial entrepreneur. All my previous entrepreneurial endeavors have been in tech. And this time I'm doing something very different. It's going to be in urban agriculture because I really care about food systems. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm in experimentation mode at the moment.
Awesome. So 16x, everybody, is so it's a book, 16x by Richard Koch. So if anybody who wants to get the book and join in, you are welcome. And the book is basically about the Pareto principle, the 80-20 principle. So it's basically that 20% of your or 80% of your results come from 20% of the work that you do. And there's basically, we're going to go through the preface in chapter one, and we're going to share our takeaways as we discussed, and then what we are going to apply. So it's basically just tracing the history of 16x, and the preface explains a little bit about that as well. So I'll just share what I learned, and then D can share that, and then afterwards I think we can go ahead and share what we plan to do and how we plan to apply that. So my main takeaway, couple things. One thing was you can use creativity to make the complex simple. And that was a realization for me, or a re-realization for me to realize, like, hey, right now in my coaching business, things are getting a little bit more complex as I'm adding on new activities. And I've been thinking, like, and I asked this to my coaches and be like, how can I focus on my metrics and make sure that whatever I'm doing is directly connected to that? And I realized as I read this that what I need to do is simplify. So my biggest takeaway is to look at all my activities and just see what is it that I need to simplify and get more creative with that. Yeah, before I talk about my action, I'll let Dee share her takeaway from the first chapter in the preface.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually going to read from the chapter because, for people that are not very familiar with 80-20, the
Mm-hmm.
Abhishek's already explained that roughly 80% of our results come from 20%. And that's pretty mind-boggling, right? Because if you were to find out, well, what is that 20% that produces most of my results, then essentially you'd be a very, very effective human being. And here he specifically, Richard Koch talks about this, which is he basically said, this means that the best bits of our time, energy, or effort produce 16 times better results than most of our. So that's pretty staggering. Like if you think about 16 times more results than most of our energy, then you start to think, well, how can I get super, super disciplined and really laser focused on the activities that are actually results? And I think really my takeaway here is because right now I have such a wide gamut of activities because I'm the only sole founder of Mahi slash Dirt Magicians. And there's just so much to do. I realized, I need to step back. We ended the pilots, and I realized, okay, you know what? I need to take a step back and take a look at all of the activities that are coming up for the next 6 months, and then specifically hone in on the activities that are going to happen next month, in the month of October, and say, well, out of this, what are the results that I'm hoping to accomplish, and what specific activities, the most targeted activities, are going to produce those results. So that was really exciting because then I realized, every single day, if I focus, I have the best energy in the mornings. So if I can focus my time around between 9 and noon on the activities that actually produce the results, I think it could be really, really amazing for me. So now I have to kind of go back and identify, well, what's that? What are those 20% activities? So that's been my takeaway. And then the other thing that I've learned is that according to our body clock rhythm, 10 a.m. is where we are at our most productive and most optimistic. Then 1 p.m. is where we get less optimistic. Then we get more optimistic at 4 p.m. and less optimistic at 7 p.m. and then more optimistic between 10 p.m. and midnight. And I've learned this from Richard Koch himself. So I realized, okay, 10 a.m. is when my natural body clock and my natural rhythm is going to be at its highest, most optimal level of performance anyway. So that's probably the time I should be focusing these activities.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because in what I do, I sometimes only eat one meal a day. I've only had one meal today because after I do my morning practices, nowadays I'm doing a little later because I work later on into the night. But after that, I just go and I do whatever quote unquote work, because I don't call it work, but I just get involved and I engage in what I need to do in the activities. And there's just so much more focus, right? Because when you consume food, your blood, starts to focus, shifts away from the top of your head and into your stomach, and then you feel like drowsy. Depending on what you eat, you might feel itis, and that kind of sucks, and that affects your performance. So really, that's also, it's not mentioned in the book, but I just wanted to share that,
Yeah,
um, since you were just mentioning about the timing as well. So timing with food and is also very important. Oh, somebody's commenting. I feel like the yogic way of eating is beyond Western science. Intermittent fasting too, right? Intermittent fasting and consuming food based on what your planned activities are.
well, the Western science is catching up to yogic way of eating, which is because intermittent fasting won a Nobel Prize. And I mean, Sadhguru always jokes about this, that they've had to spend millions of dollars on the research in order to be able to prove what they own. So yeah, I would say Western way of life. But yeah, so I think it's a very important principle, and kind of honing on the discipline of constantly being super, what's the word I'm looking for? Being really, really, really possessive about our time and energy and using it only for the absolute most important and most productive activities is a science unto itself.
Hmm.
And I did to do that and commit to it over the next week.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Let me just share what my not my takeaway time, my action is. So what I plan to apply from this. So this was a really good reminder for me, especially because I'm in an accelerator program right now for my coaching business, and I'm in week 3 right now of 10, and things are really ramping up. And what I need to do right now is really simplifying what I'm doing and just cut out things that I need to stop doing that are not affecting the bottom line. And so that's my major takeaway, which is, or not takeaway, my major action that I want to do today. I commit to doing that today. So when we come back tomorrow, I will come back and share with you what I apply and how that goes. Which is, I'm just gonna look at everything that I'm doing, write it down, and just say like, what is it that's really affecting my results, my main metrics, and whatever that is, I'll increase the energy and the time into that, and whatever is not directly impacting that, I'm gonna either cut it out or reduce my time and energy into that. Especially now because over the last couple of weeks as being part of the accelerator, so many things have become clear and so many new actions are coming up. And it's like, what do I really need to focus on? And I think this was a great reminder to go through this chapter. So that is what I'll come back with tomorrow. And now back to D.
I'd say my mentor is the exact same because we've just wrapped up the pilots, like the exit interviews of this week and next week for the pilots in Vancouver. So now it's kind of going into the next phase, which is building the online community for Dirt Magicians, and also starting to plan for next year's activities and like starting to build and architect the app itself. So I've decided that I'm going to go back and do the exact same thing, which is I'm going to write down a list of all my activities and then see for this month specifically, what would I like to accomplish? What's my goal for this month? What would I really like to accomplish? And then look at what activities will actually contribute to that.
Yeah. That actually reminds me, what I should also do is I should look back at what's been very successful, not only in terms of forward, but in terms of back, because success leaves clues. So what are the clues that were left behind from the success that I'm already experiencing? And then from there, I can say, like, this is what's worked really well. Is this something that's repeatable? Or will I get results if I repeat this again? So I just wanted to also add that to this.
I can see my friend Rand has joined and sending lots of love.
Other people are commenting too.
Which is I'm going to go live every single day because this is over about me. Also, just getting over that hump.
Mhm.
I prefer not to be live, and so this is what I've committed to her. So look at her.
No, that's awesome. That's really good. Even yesterday was my first live on Instagram by myself. I did two more lives before that on Facebook on certain private groups with like hundreds of people and one with like 2,000 people. So that was also big for me. So that's really cool. So yeah, I guess we'll come back tomorrow. I have a hypothesis, which is I feel that what I'm going to discover is I'll discover things that I don't like to do that I may have been subconsciously putting off or putting behind. But those might be the things that are going to create the biggest results. And I notice this in my clients too. So it's not, so I notice in myself, I notice in my clients, and it's always about bringing that blind spot into awareness and acting on
Funny because I have the exact same hypothesis. I've
it.
been resisting these, and I think now putting pen and paper, I'm going to be able to see what are the activities that I'm resisting. And yeah, so tomorrow I'll report back as to, well, what I've been resisting because I'll see it on paper now that I've committed to this.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Everybody, you are all here. Thank you so much. There's 7 of you. That's beautiful. Beautiful, lovely people. Thank you. And we will see you tomorrow. Get the book if you're interested in joining. And I like that comment, Young Tesla 369. What you resist persists. All right. Cool. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Dee?
Yeah, I just wanted to let them know. So tomorrow we'll be talking about creating white space for innovation. That's actually one of my favorite chapters.
Wait, are we skipping ahead?
Are we? No, we just talk. I was just kind of introducing what we'll be doing tomorrow.
No, I thought this was tomorrow.
What is tomorrow? Oh, I thought that's what we talked about today.
Oh, is it? I talked about I thought I thought we talked about the preface in chapter 1, not chapter 2.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
What do you want to do?
We'll do the 80/20.
Yeah, so tomorrow we'll talk about this.
80/20. Okay.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank
Cool.
you for joining.
Thank you all for joining. See
See
ya
you tomorrow at 3.
tomorrow.
3
Tomorrow. Oh, wait. I have to go to an engagement. A friend of mine is getting engaged in the morning, and then I have a bunch of calls. Can I? Yeah, I don't know. How do I check? I think I would. Let me just open up my calendar. Is this time good for you? I don't know if it works for me.
3 Pacific works, but if we want to do earlier, actually 3 Pacific tomorrow.
Um, Actually, no. Tomorrow should be good at this time.
2 Pacific works.
Wait, what? No. I later is better for me. Sorry.
4 Pacific.
Yeah, 4
7.
Pacific is 7 for me, right? Yeah. So
Okay.
tomorrow, 4 p.m. LA time, 7 p.m. New York time. See you all.
All right. Thanks.
Ciao.
Ciao.